Get ready for the action because Charles Leclerc finished third in the Miami sprint race, battling hard against Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri. We dive into the details of how the Scuderia Ferrari team performed, what the car's limitations are, and what this means for the main race ahead.
Stop using your finger for notes, sketches, and edits. This Jam Jake stylus pen gives your iPad a smoother, more precise writing feel with palm rejection so your hand can rest naturally on the screen. It charges fast, works for hours, and comes with replacement tips. Perfect for school, work, or creative projects. Check the link in the comments to grab it on Amazon.
Next up, Charles Leclerc addresses the heated radio exchange he had with Kimi Antonelli during the sprint. We break down Leclerc's reaction to the on-track intensity and whether his comments were too harsh, and what this reveals about the dynamic between the two drivers. Now, we look at the aftermath of the sprint, as Kimi Antonelli speaks out regarding the penalty that relegated him to 6th place. Hear Antonelli's frustration over track, limits infringements, and what he says about the difficulty of the weekend. Finally, we get an exclusive assessment from McLaren team principal Andrea Stella after Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri secured a strong 1-2 finish in the Miami sprint. Find out what Stella thinks about the upgrades and where the team stands heading into qualifying. Don't miss the rest of the race. Stay tuned. Charles Leclerc demonstrated strong performance in the Miami sprint race, finishing in 3rd position behind Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri. While securing 4th place in sprint qualifying, Leclerc improved by 1 position during the race. The SF26 proved more competitive in race conditions than in qualifying, though both Ferrari drivers noted a significant gap in pure power performance compared to rivals. Leclerc reported initial concerns regarding the power unit, stating the car felt slow, particularly in overtake mode, citing a deficit of approximately 30 horsepower compared to Mercedes-powered cars. Despite the power limitations, the team's updates and the strong chassis of the SF26 allowed Leclerc to maintain pace with Oscar Piastri. Attempts to overtake Piastri were hampered by the lack of straight-line performance, making clean attacks difficult. Following the session, Leclerc addressed the upgrade package introduced in Miami. He expressed satisfaction with the updates, noting the team's exceptional work over the break, but acknowledged that 3rd place was insufficient, emphasizing the need for a higher finish. Leclerc suggested that McLaren also introduced a significant upgrade package, indicating that the competitive gap is not insurmountable. Reflecting on the race, Leclerc felt the pace was better than during qualifying, despite the difficulty in staying close in the 2nd sector. Regarding the main race, Leclerc remained cautious, noting that the impending rain introduced significant uncertainty. He stressed that a strong qualifying position would be advantageous, though the potential for wet conditions remains a major variable. The SF26's strong tire warm-up performance and superior aerodynamic efficiency are seen as potential assets should the race become unpredictable under wet conditions. Charles Leclerc has issued a clarification following a heated radio exchange with Kimi Antonelli during the Miami Grand Prix sprint. Leclerc acknowledged that his radio message aimed at Antonelli was a bit too harsh after the two drivers engaged in close combat early in the 19-lap race. The incident occurred after Antonelli, who had started on the front row, fell down several positions following a slow start, while Leclerc capitalized on the situation. Leclerc expressed frustration with Antonelli's defensive skills to race engineer Brian Bozzi, stating, "Kimi is so bad on wheel-to-wheel. He moved under braking, it's unbelievable. We're going to crash." Ultimately, Leclerc finished 3rd, while Antonelli crossed the line 4th on the road but was penalized 5 seconds for excessive track limits breaches, dropping him to 6th. With the dust settling, Leclerc addressed questions regarding the tone of his comments. He admitted that while he was angry in the car, the resulting comments were likely too harsh. Leclerc clarified that he does get along well with the Mercedes driver and expressed that he wishes the situation were different, noting that Antonelli is the only Italian driver competing against Ferrari. Antonelli currently holds a 7-point lead in the drivers' standings following the sprint action, with Leclerc positioned third on 55 points. The exchange highlights the intense competition and occasional friction that characterizes the high-stakes environment of Formula One. Kimi Antonelli expressed frustration following a penalty that relegated him to sixth place after finishing fourth in the Miami sprint. The Mercedes driver faced a 5-second penalty for multiple track limits infringements during the 19-lap race, resulting in his demotion to sixth, with his teammate George Russell promoted to fourth. Max Verstappen took fifth, while Lewis Hamilton and Pierre Gasly finished within the top 8. Following the sprint, Lando Norris celebrated a perfect result for McLaren, while Russell acknowledged struggling with the low grip on the track, but noted the impressive pace of rivals. Charles Leclerc, despite finishing third, admitted dissatisfaction with his result, but praised the team's upgrades, hoping for a better start on Sunday. Antonelli attributed his errors to low grip levels, acknowledging mistakes such as track limits infringement, and stated the team is focusing on maximizing results ahead of qualifying for the main race. All drivers are set to return to action in qualifying later on Saturday. McLaren team principal Andrea Stella expressed cautious optimism following Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri's 1-2 finish in the Miami sprint race. The walking base team arrived at the Miami Grand Prix weekend with an almost new car, incorporating extensive upgrades developed during a 5-week break in April. Stella was pleased that the car maintained good characteristics from a degradation point of view during long runs, though he emphasized that the competition remains tight. Stella stated, "It's good to bring upgrades so that we can become more and more competitive. It was important to confirm that the upgrades work like we've seen yesterday over a single lap. Today, it was important to see them in long runs and even hot conditions." He added, "So good indications so far, but everyone is very close. I think Lando might have benefited from being the lead car, in clean air, possibly whoever was the first today could have won the sprint. I think everyone is close, and we will see more in a few hours in qualifying." Sprint winner Lando Norris reflected on the race, noting, "Nice to be back on the top step, a good day for us. It was hot out there and sweaty. I was pushing, trying to find that balance of pushing and staying relaxed to not make mistakes. A good start to the weekend, but now I've got to do it all over again." Currently, McLaren holds third place in the constructors' standings, trailing championship leader Mercedes and Ferrari in second position.